So you've thoroughly researched pet rabbits and are absolutely certain that you and your family are ready for a bunny as a pet. But do you know what to look for and what questions to ask when getting your pet bunny? Today, we are going to look at the top 7 questions that you should ask when getting a pet rabbit. But first, did you know that you are probably not subscribed to this channel? Go ahead and look for that subscribe button down below. It really helps to support the channel and it doesn't cost you a thing. And girl, you know how we love free stuff. Stick around. What's up everybody? I'm Diane from Hollands, and today we are talking about the top 7 questions that you should ask when getting a new bunny. Let me preface this by saying these are my opinions, but they are based on all of the experience I have gained over the years raising rabbits. Secondly, this is not a comprehensive list of everything that you should look for and ask. I have a whole page on my website devoted to this. I will put the link in the description below if you want to check it out. Let's hop to it. And these are not in any particular order. Number 1 is age. Now, if you are adopting your bunny from a shelter, there's a good chance you won't know the exact age. I mean, they're not like trees where you can count their rings, but the shelter and your veterinarian might be able to examine the bunny's teeth and their overall condition and size and give you a rough estimate as to the age. In case you're wondering what the average lifespan of a rabbit is, it really can vary vastly depending on the breed, the conditions it's living in, spaying and neutering, and of course, what emergencies the bunnies might suffer, and can you get the bunny care fast enough to save its life. In my experience, 4 to 8 years is probably pretty average, and of course, there are exceptions on either end of the spectrum. Where age is most important is if you are adopting a baby bunny. Do not get a baby bunny younger than 8 weeks. Don't get it younger than 8 weeks. I can't say that enough. I've seen quite a few available 5, 6, 7 weeks old. Is it possible for a bunny to be weaned at that age? Yes, it's possible, but it is certainly not ideal and definitely not in the bunny's best interest. A bunny will keep nursing 5, 6, 7, even 8 weeks and beyond at least once a day, if not more, and that nutrition greatly helps to develop their digestive system, their immune system. Now, rabbits are prey animals, so they are fragile creatures anyhow. But baby bunnies in particular, their immune systems are easily stressed. So if you are taking that bunny away from its mom a few weeks early, you are denying the bunny those extra weeks of nourishment and time to mature and to become more robust and ready to leave that environment. Now, I know people are really excited to get their baby bunny. They want to get it as young as possible, as small as possible, so they can begin forming that bond. But hands down, I would take a 3-month-old bunny over a 2-month-old bunny any day, just because they've had those extra few weeks to grow and develop and to become more independent, for their immune systems, their digestive systems to become better accustomed to the hay and the pellets and without their mom's milk and in their current environment. Because if you're taking them away from their mom and doing that too soon and then changing to a new environment all at the same time, that really can be a recipe for disaster. Make sure the bunny is at least 8 weeks of age, is well weaned from its mom. That means eating and drinking on its own, living separately from the mom, and no evidence of loose stool or diarrhea, any indicators that there are some stress and maturity issues. So that's what you need to know about age. Moving on to number 2, gender. Now, some people really don't care if they get a male rabbit or a female rabbit. Male is a buck, female is a doe. However, you probably would like to know what your rabbit is, especially when you're picking out a name. I will put a video up here helping you to figure out what gender your rabbit is. Now, here's where it gets difficult. If you are getting a baby bunny, know that everything is so tiny down there. so tiny. Some babies, it's pretty easy to tell. And other babies, it's more ambiguous. When adopting an older bunny from a shelter, it's going to be quite obvious if you have a buck or a doe. Because around 5 or 6 months of age, a buck's testicles will drop, and then it's very obvious. But even at 8 weeks of age, which is the minimum that a baby should be leaving to your home, it still can be ambiguous in some cases. So if you have another rabbit in your house that is not spayed or neutered, then you definitely need to make sure that you don't put them together until you are absolutely certain, and you don't want to put 2 rabbits together anyhow without doing a lot of meet and greets. And that's a whole other video topic. But anyhow, if you have another rabbit in the house that is spayed or neutered and you're looking for a particular gender for a mate, not like a romantic mate, but like a friend, then I would not get a baby bunny unless you can be absolutely certain of the gender, or you are willing to be flexible with a buck or a doe. I can't tell you how many times I have heard from people that they got 2 baby bunnies and they were told that you had 2 bucks or 2 does, and they ended up with baby bunnies. Keep in mind that rabbits can begin reproducing as young as around 5 or 6 months of age, and rabbit gestation is only 1 month. And that's another reason I don't advise getting 2 baby bunnies at once, because it's difficult to tell gender sometimes, and you don't want to end up with a litter of baby bunnies, especially because it's probably brother and sister. That's a whole other video too, but we won't talk about that here. Number 3 is health. This is a very important topic, and there are quite a few questions that you will want to ask the shelter or the breeder. Even though you are not the expert in this situation, it is your responsibility to examine the bunny before taking it home. So be informed. First, you want to check the eyes. You want to make sure that they are clear and they're not full of goop, and you don't want the fur to be matted. Now, if they have a little crusty here or there, that typically is pretty normal and I wouldn't be concerned. But if you see excessive discharge or the matting of the fur, that would be a warning sign. The nose. The nose is a big one in rabbits. If you see a rabbit have a lot of snot around its nose, it could be something called snuffles, which is very contagious to other rabbits, and it's difficult to eradicate, and it tends to come back when a rabbit's immune system is stressed. So if you see mucus around the nose, the rabbit might be sneezing also, walk away. Do yourself a favor. Now, if you don't have any other bunnies and this is a shelter rabbit and the shelter discloses that this is a special needs rabbit, then I would not be concerned if you really like the rabbit. The ears, you want to take a look inside the rabbit's ears. Make sure that you don't see little bumps, any sores. That could indicate ear mites or ear canker. And then you want to check the teeth. That's also very important. You want those top teeth going over the bottom front teeth. If it is the other way around, bottom in front of the top, or top meeting the bottom, I would walk away. Now, baby bunnies are still developing, and sometimes if their teeth are kind of meeting, that will work its way out and they'll end up in the right place. But if you see the back over the front, that is called malocclusion, and that's most likely going to be a lifelong problem for the bunny. It might involve tooth surgeries, tooth trimmings. It might not be something that you want to deal with. Also, good to note, this can be genetic. So if you know that the parents of the bunny have any sort of teeth issues, that could be an indicator that the bunny may develop that at some point. And of course, can't forget the vent. That's the poop hole area. You want to make sure it's not wet. Diarrhea in rabbits is usually very concerning. And it might not be diarrhea, it could be just their soft stool kind of got smashed up against them. But if you see sores in the area, a lot of hair missing, just full of urine and watery, dried poop, that could be an indicator that the bunny has some digestive issues. It is important to note that bunnies have 2 kinds of poop. They have the normal, hard, round, dry balls, and then the little teeny tiny wet clusters that kind of look like chocolate raspberries. Those are called cecotropes or cecal pellets, and the bunnies will eat those for nutrients. I know that sounds gross, but think of it as like a little probiotic vitamin. But baby bunnies in particular are notorious for smashing those everywhere. So if the bunny has some cecotrope smashed on the back feet or a little bit on them, that usually is not an issue. But if you see excessive cecotropes everywhere, it can be a digestive imbalance, and you definitely need to be careful about potential signs of diarrhea. So those are the basics about health. Number 4 is temperament. Depending on your family's lifestyle, whether you live alone and you're older and things are kind of calm and quiet in your house and you're home a lot and have a lot of attention that you can devote to the bunny, or you are a younger family and you're busy and it's loud around your house and you might have other pets, that really is going to determine the type of bunny personality that you are seeking. So you need to inquire about the bunny's general temperament. Has the bunny been handled? Worth noting that most rabbits hate being picked up, and they are really not lap pets like a cat or a small dog might be. They mostly like to interact on the ground. They're prey animals, remember, and they like to come to you on their own terms. There are exceptions, but that's generally the rule. But you do want a bunny that you can handle, because you're going to need to trim nails. You might need to do some other grooming of the bunny, brushing. So you need to inquire about how skittish the bunny is when being handled. What's the bunny's personality like? Are they very timid? Are they timid and then curious once they warm up to the situation and learn that they're safe? Are they very outgoing? Do they adapt well to loud sounds in their environment? Or are they super crazy daredevils? There are a lot of different personalities. You also need to keep in mind that your bunny's personality very likely will change as they reach maturity around 5 and 6 months of age. And it probably will take a few months until you can get your bunny spayed or neutered and that they've healed and their hormones have subsided after the surgery. And after that, after they've matured and after they've had their spaying and neutering, then you can kind of see your bunny's true personality. And usually they'll be a lot more calm than when they were around 5 or 6 months of age. And as they get older, they'll have less energy as well, for the most part. I have a 7-year-old bunny who's really crazy, Sonny Jim. Therefore, a great benefit in adopting a bunny from a shelter, not only is the bunny probably already going to be spayed or neutered, which saves you the expense and more importantly the hassle of getting a bunny through surgery and the recovery, because you have to keep that bunny eating, but you also will already know the bunny's general personality. Are you beginning to sense a theme that there are a lot of benefits of adopting a bunny that you probably didn't consider? Food for thought. Number 5 is breed, color, and pedigree. If the bunny is just a pet or you are adopting, most of this really doesn't matter. However, in either case, you probably want to have a good idea what color your rabbit is. Now, I do have a nice video class, I'll put it up here, going into the color genetics of rabbits and with some color charts of the different rabbit colors. And I also will put a link to my website below. I have that information there as well. Most rabbits are some of the common colors like chestnut or black tortoise shell, which is black tort, but there are of course a lot of oddballs. A good breeder should either be able to tell you the exact color or a general color family if it's one of the more rare colors that can be a bit of an enigma. As for the breed, if you're getting a bunny from a shelter, it's probably just going to be a guess, and it could be a mixture of a few different breeds in there as well. A breeder should be able to tell you the breed. You'll want to ask if it's purebred. Is a pedigree included? Now, if this is just a pet, it's not going to matter, but if you are buying this for showing or for 4-H, you are going to want that. If you're buying a 2-month-old, a 3-month-old baby bunny, you really shouldn't be getting a pedigree anyhow, because that bunny is way too young to accurately assess the type and the quality. But no matter the age, you should at least be able to ask some information verbally about the lineage of your bunny. The breeder should be willing to give you that. And obviously you probably won't know that if you're getting your bunny from the shelter, but it doesn't really matter. Number 6, support. What type of support does the breeder, shelter, or rescue offer after the sale? Can you contact them by email or phone with questions on transitioning your bunny on those first few days home? What about weeks, months, or even years later when you might have an emergency and you can't reach your veterinarian? Are they willing to help? I always offered lifetime support with my baby bunnies, and I've had quite a few families contact me with anything from general questions to emergency texts and emails when the bunny is not eating and it's late at night or on the weekend, and I try to help as much as I can, but that's not always available, so you might want to ask that now so you know what to expect. And definitely have an emergency veterinarian available for after hours, because you probably will need one at some point. What happens if you need to rehome your bunny? There are so many different reasons, from allergies to moving and your landlord won't let you have a pet, or your family just loses interest in the bunny. Will the breeder, shelter, or rescue take that bunny back? Now, you won't get a refund most likely, but they might be able to take the bunny back and help to find it a new home. This is something that I never offered because of biosecurity, especially with the rabbit hemorrhagic disease, RHD, which you may or may not have heard of. It was always too much of a risk for me to take back any bunnies once they have left. But I was always willing to help list the bunny on my website and social media and help find it a quality new home. So find out if there's any sort of a take back policy or assistance if you do need to rehome the bunny. And number 7, vet the breeder or the shelter. I know that kind of sounds funny, but you need to do your homework and I guess kind of investigate them. You want to know who you are going to be dealing with. Now, shelters and rescues are usually very transparent and they do a good job of giving you plenty of information about the process, and you can visit the animal and get to know their personality to help you make the correct decision. You might be able to interact with the bunny and examine it hands-on beforehand, and that can really help you to make your decision. When it comes to breeders, I will tell you from firsthand experience that there is quite a variety out there. And it's going to be up to you to ask the questions and figure out if that breeder's ethics match up to what you are seeking. You should be able to ask if you can see the bunny's parents. That will give you an idea of not only rough size that your bunny will probably end up looking like, you might even see the color. The colors can change as the bunny matures, but most importantly, it will help you to see the condition of the adult rabbits. And maybe even you can get a glimpse into the environment that they are kept in. How they are housing their rabbits is something else you might want to ask. How many rabbits do they have? How many litters do they have per year? That will give you a really good indicator of what the priorities are for that breeder. Is it quantity and money, or is it small quantities and quality of care? If the shelter or breeder gets offended by these questions, then that is a big red flag, because they are probably not going to be very kind to you if you have an issue down the road and you have to contact them. They might not be available. So that's another issue, is how is the communication with that breeder or shelter? Also, are you being asked questions? Shelters most likely will have an application that you have to fill out, and they might even check your veterinary references. But a breeder that is not asking you any questions obviously does not care how responsible you are as a pet owner. You want to get your bunny from a place that is transparent, it's clean, they have high standards of care, and they don't mind you asking them questions, and they are asking you questions to figure out if you are a good match for the bunny. In review, the top 7 questions that we discussed today that you should ask when getting a bunny are: what is the bunny's age, the gender, the health of the bunny, the temperament or personality of the bunny, the color, pedigree, breed, what support is provided with the bunny, and finally, vetting the breeder or shelter. Again, I have more information about this topic on my website. Check out the link below. Can you think of any questions that I didn't cover here? If so, drop those down in the comments below. If you found this helpful, smash that thumbs up and remember to subscribe. As always, thanks for watching. Whew, I just ran downstairs to get this microphone. So this would be an official news broadcast. If you came here hoping for bloopers, I'm afraid you will be highly disappointed. For some reason, I didn't make many mistakes like I normally do. The health of the bunny. Crud. What's the next one? So I will instead use this section to update those of you who want to know what's been going on. Now, if you notice in the background, there's a lot of technology that I'm too old to really know how to operate properly. So my gaming channel that I've been working on has required a lot of watching YouTube videos to coordinate the tech involved for live streams. So I've been learning that, and I have been doing some live streams, and I'm going to be doing more. If you aren't already subscribed to Buckeye Bunny, and I'll put the link below very inconspicuously, you might want to do so. Now, I am not doing a face reveal on that channel until it can make money, and that's going to be around 1,000 subscribers, and we're right around 800 right now. So if you watch my live streams and you call me Hollands, I will adamantly deny that until there's a face reveal. Just be warned. So I've been working on that, and with the holidays, and honestly, I've probably been a little bit lazy lately. I really haven't had time to do much on this channel, and without the baby bunnies, and I've covered a lot of topics already, it's difficult for me to find something that you might want to know that I haven't discussed already. But I got an email from someone last week about this question that we covered today, so I thought it was a teachable moment. Bunny update. I still have 6 bunnies. I have 3 bucks, 3 does. For the does, I have Cora, her daughter Callie, and then the beautiful crazy Storm, who's still big and crazy and deaf, and I love her. I love them all. For the bucks, we have Moose, we have Fozzie, and then we have his dad, Sonny. Sonny and Fozzie look so much alike. As you know, they're both orange, and Fozzie's just like, if you took Sonny and he was wool and you put him in the dryer, that's kind of what Fozzie looks like, just a miniature version. Sonny Jim, if you remember my video from last year, he turned 6 years old. So that means this year he turned 7, right? And that's next week, I think. And that's about it. No new bunnies, no new baby bunnies. Still standing by my decision not to have any more baby bunnies, and I am enjoying the reduced workload. It just does make it more difficult for me to interact with you guys. So if you want to keep in touch, make sure to subscribe to Buckeye Bunny. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. This is Diane reporting live from Hollands. I'm out.